Okay, we are live. So, welcome and hello to everyone who's joining the episode for this week on Disruptive Technologies, a Malawian perspective. So, before we move on, I'm just going to ask you to like this video, comment, and subscribe, and please comment and engage in the comments. So, this week, we're going to have a session on AI for business transformation. There's a lot going on when it comes to artificial intelligence. There's so much news that we're hearing around the world with DeepSeek just coming up. We have the what Trump is doing concerning AI. And one of the most interesting things that happened is we recently had International Day of Education, and the theme was AI for education. And someone asked if Malawi was ready for AI. Like, is our education sector ready to integrate artificial intelligence into everything that happens? So, yeah, the responses that I saw were not promising or encouraging. I don't know, maybe Tapiwa is gonna jump in and talk about what she thinks on that. But the responses that I got were really not encouraging, the responses that I saw, rather. So, anyway, today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence for business transformation. I have a special guest, Ms. Tapiwa Kandiado, who is the founder and managing director of Space AI. So without much, I'm just going to give her the stage, and she's going to give us a bit of her background, what she's been up to, and how she got there, and what she's currently doing. So over to you, Tapiwa.
Thank you, Phyllis. I hope you can hear me. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for including me in the program. My name is Tapiwa Kandiado. I like to identify myself as a business person. So what I do is I run a business in tech, particularly artificial intelligence. So I come from a background where I studied information technology here in Malawi. I was at the Polytechnic a few years ago. And that's where I was first introduced to the concept of artificial intelligence. So we started doing that in our fourth year. So you could see that we didn't have enough time to have a proper feel of what AI is. So it was only like introduced to us as a concept. And then for some reason, I was immediately drawn to it. The concept of artificial intelligence was quite interesting to me. So I said, okay, I think let me do a project in AI. So I did a project as my final year project. It was 70% of it was quite research. We did a small prototype because of our timelines, but yeah, I think the interest continued to grow from there. But I think initially, I've always viewed myself as someone who runs a business, not necessarily someone who is just going up the corporate ladder. I think that hasn't been the goal for me. So I decided that, okay, I'm going to use my skills to start a business. I have been working. I was in the corporate world for close to 6 years, since 2018 until last year when I exited for good. So I made a decision to say, okay, if I have to if I have to make something happen, then I need to be there fully. So I exited in September last year. So for 4 months, I have been on this journey of building a business out of tech. So today's discussion was not more about me teaching something, but I think I love the conversations around artificial intelligence, and I would also want to to know what people out there are thinking, because for a business person, I believe that first and foremost, you have to understand the needs that people are looking at. We have like a lot of solutions that are being built each and every day around artificial intelligence. Every day we are facing a new solution, new concepts, and the question that I always ask myself is, what are we solving? So for space AI, my goal is to make lives better for people by coming up with AI solutions that are good and are solving problems that fit the Malawian market as well as across the borders. And mainly, we are also interested in partnering up with businesses to see how they can use artificial intelligence to enhance their productivity, automate some processes to cut cost and things like those. So basically, in a nutshell, that's what I would say I've been up to and what Tapiwa does.
All right. Thank you so much. That's great. Actually, I just wanted to say, like, the first time that I saw Tapiwa's profile, she was outside of Malawi representing her company. And I was like, this looks quite interesting because I think one of the main issues that we have here in Malawi, especially when it comes to people in tech, is not having that entrepreneurial spirit. Most of us really just look to employment to be kind of the solution for our problems. But one thing I like is what you're saying, like, oh, what are the solutions that we can provide? What are the problems that we can solve? Which is something
Yes.
that I really respect because not a lot of people are doing that. And to have a company that is specifically focusing on providing AI solutions, I mean, I don't know many other companies in Malawi that are doing that. Most companies will be like, oh, we do all of this, but we also have an AI element. But I know of your company to be just like, okay, we provide artificial intelligence solutions. So one of the things that we wanted to discuss today is basically how Malawian businesses can use artificial intelligence, how exactly they can do that, if there are any opportunities to use AI, and if there are any challenges in the market. So I think I'm just going to give you the stage now so you can go through just a little something that you prepared to share on this. And then I think after that, we can have a Q&A. So yeah, over to you, Tapiwa.
Okay. Thank you so much, Phyllis. Um, so I prepared a few slides. I am not very good with teaching, so you'll forgive me. So we will have a few discussion on what AI and business transformation is all about. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, I believe like in our last 2 or 3 episodes that you have had with other, especially the previous one where you were hosting McDonald, I think he touched base on what AI is. And I believe most of us by now, we know what artificial intelligence is. And basically, we are talking about computer systems mimicking what humans can do. Okay, we are trying to enhance our productivity, to make our lives better, to simplify life in a way using technology, cut costs, and maybe develop new revenue streams when you're talking of businesses. So AI in business transformation is basically integrating artificial intelligence in our traditional setup. So if you have like a system that was there that was doing a particular task, and you include AI to do that in a better way. For example, if you do like day-to-day reporting, okay, I've been in the corporate world, and one of the things that I used to dislike was pulling out reports each and every Friday. Like I have to pull a weekly report and I have to type, I have to put in a lot of numbers, make graphs and whatnot. I didn't like that. Okay, I think I've always been drawn to the idea of making life simpler. So thank God for tech. AI is here to make that for us, to do that for us. And yeah, when you integrate AI in those kind of processes, you find ourselves that we do not have to spend a lot of time trying to analyze data on our own, trying to come up with graphs or graphics or reports that are good looking to our bosses and that kind of thing. I think AI can is able to do that on our behalf. So basically, AI in businesses, that's what we are talking about. We are integrating artificial intelligence in our day-to-day processes. So I was also like researching on what you mentioned earlier, Phyllis, to say, is Malawi ready for artificial intelligence? If you ask me, I think yes. I think yes, Malawi has always been ready. I think we have always been ready. I know that because we do have challenges. So in a space where there are challenges, there are also opportunities. Take for instance the time where we had COVID. There were people that were just victims of COVID, but it was also an era where other people made a lot of money because they saw it as an opportunity and they came up with different kinds of solutions. So when you look at the Malawian landscape, we are talking of, if we look at our economy, where we are 80% of it, we're depending on agriculture, okay? But we are depending on farming, particularly maize. But for several years, I think we have been hit by, it's always, we always come up with cases to say, okay, well, there's been drought, there's been floods, there's been this, there's been that. And for that, we haven't really managed to have enough food. Well, I mean, it's always this or that. But if we look at if you look at the history of how we've been doing our agricultural practices, it's always been the norm. Okay, like every year we do the same things. But if we are to do some research about other countries and how they're using technology to enhance food production, it's amazing. Even if you ask, even if you are to find out what people are doing in China or even other countries like Rwanda in Africa. I mean, people are really adopting AIoT in agriculture. They are using precision farming. They don't have to they don't have to be there in their fields to know that their plants are infected. They know the right amount of fertilizer to apply when even they do not even have to depend solely on artificial fertilizer because they know the right amount of organic manure they can apply to get the right production from what they have farmed. All this using technology. But if you look at the Malawian landscape, that has not been the case. Maybe it's there, but the adoption is not. It's not like it's not very common. You can a typical person that's in the village, you cannot tell them about new ways of doing things like technology. They'll probably maybe question to say, okay, what are you talking about? Okay, it's like alien language. But I believe that these kind of trends are not supposed to be alien language because it's a technology that cannot be ignored and it's something that affects everyone in one way or another. Okay, so for us to fully benefit from it, we have to be in the forefront and also not just be consumers of the technology to say, okay, we want to implement something and who is going to do that for us? No, we should be also the producers of that kind of technology. We should have AI experts here in Malawi who can do that. The tech experts here who can actually produce that and implement that kind of technology here without even having to depend on some European technology that we can just adopt and implement, because I think that's really doable. So if you look at the trends according to the research, uh, in Malawi, the adoption rate is quite small in Africa, and in Malawi, still in the early stages. Well, we do have AI being adopted, for example, in customer service. I think one of the banks has got a chatbot. I haven't really experienced it myself, but that's one way of applying it. I could say it's there, but it's not fully adopted. People are still doing the manual way of doing things. So, well, it's not a worrying thing. It just means that there's still room for more. There is room for to expand because the problems are there. Yeah, and when we're talking of businesses, I mean, I'm pretty sure most people would say, I don't know if there is someone who would say that they actually love dealing with large data sets and analyzing them, coming up with all these kind of fancy reports. Or I don't know, maybe two or three people out of 10, I
Maybe
believe.
data engineers, yeah, data engineers.
Yeah, but
They should love that,
for
yeah.
most people, even CEOs, they do not have time for that. They just want you to, they want numbers, they want to see something, they want to see how their business is doing at the get-go. They don't have time to process large data sets. But yeah, AI has given us that luxury that we are actually able to do that. So, in a business setup, how does a business leverage artificial intelligence to enhance its operations? There are a lot, so I could not capture everything, but there are two or three things that I would pick up to say. When we talk of the technology of AI, mostly, I think the first thing that comes to your mind is automation. Like, how do I automate this? It's like I used to I used to switch on and off my bulb every day. Like when I wake up in the morning, it's off. When I go to bed, it's on, or vice versa. Right now, you can just command it. Okay, that's a task automation. Instead of you having to go and do that, AI can do that for you. So when we're talking of task automation, we're talking on issues to do data entry, which I've mentioned, like processing large data sets, analyzing data, pulling out reports, payrolls. We have instances where, you know, there are errors that happen when people are doing manual payroll processes. Other people get paid twice. Others are deducted more than they should. Yeah, so those AI eliminates those kind of errors. We are talking of inventory management, like in a setup where, like in a retail shop, if big malls like ShopRite, for example, they know at a go which kind of products is there and the amounts. And also artificial intelligence is able to tell you to say, okay, because it learns as you use it, so it gets better by time. So it's able to tell you to say, okay, at this particular day or in this type of season, these products go up, the purchases for this kind of products go up. So it gives you some sort of insights of how you should, what you should expect, and how your business is going by. HR processes, like recruitment processes, AI tools can actually, instead of you having to go through each and every application that comes, AI can actually assess those on your behalf, saving you time, and it can do it efficiently as compared to human effort. This reminds me of an instance where I think it's one of the, I can't quite remember what company was that, but they advertised for several posts and a lot of people applied. I went and I was part of the people that applied, and I went there to submit my application, and it was by hand. And there were several boxes of letters. And I was there thinking, how are these people doing it? How will they be able to go through all those leaders and assess which one is well suited for their position? But AI, you give it data. This is the kind of person that we're looking for, and it will assess with the applications that are there, and it will cut the process for you. Customer service is one of the things, and we are also at SpaceI focusing. I hope that maybe one day I can come back and talk more about it, because we are still in the process of developing it, and we intend to launch it in a couple of months. But customer service in Malawi is a big issue. And as I've said, challenges means opportunities. So I get so sick if I have to call my bank and they tell me I have to wait, and I have to wait for 1 hour only to be told they'll get back to me, and they never do. Okay. So I think businesses can cut costs because they invest so much in traditional call centers, which requires a lot of equipment, a lot of human resource. And with AI automation, most businesses can actually do the same type of work by maybe spending 50% of what they are already spending on a traditional call center. So I think most companies, most businesses, what they are looking at is, how do we save time? How do we make more money? Okay, saving time and making more money, profitability and enhancement. I think those are the main things. Other things are like marketing, predictive analysis. I think focusing, those are things that I've also mentioned. Risk management, if we talk of things like fraud, detecting fraud, and AI-driven products. For example, if a bank, I don't know, but I wish I had I use Standard Bank, but I wish if their application was able to tell me through my spending, how I spend using my savings account, if they're able to tell me or give me some sort of recommendation on how I can save better, on how. So Standard Bank can offer that as an add-on product, and yeah, it could actually generate an extra revenue for them. Okay, so because when you're in business, you're looking on how you can differentiate yourself. Okay, so that could be something that businesses can leverage on by having AI products that could actually uniquely differentiate them to their competitors. So, risks as all again, when we're talking of risk, there are quite a number of them. AI systems ain't cheap. They come at a cost. But I cannot say they're expensive. They're just costly. Okay. If something is expensive, it means you're paying more for less value. But if it's costly, it means it costs what it is. Okay. So yeah, it comes with a cost. So companies should be willing to pour in some extra um, money to have those systems implemented. But yeah, uh, you have them, then you're good. Uh, Data sources and privacy. I think we all know that AI models use, it's all about data. You give it the right data, it gives out the good quality of data, and I think it raises concerns on, say, oh, so what else are you using my data for? Okay, a lot of people are skeptical. Some do not want to give certain type of data. So, see if you want to build a system that, for example, an automated system that lets you do self check at a mall. So instead of you having to stand on a till, you self check. You pay through your phone and everything. So for every transaction that you are doing, the system is learning, it's capturing data. Okay, it's capturing the data. You put your name, you put your emails, it knows the location, it knows everything. So I think it comes with the security concerns around it. But as much as we do not have proper policies around AI in Malawi, we do have a data protection policy that we use. And for every system that we are putting in place, we have to be at par with what we are supposed to do as much as the policy is guiding us to do. So, on another issue is resistance to change. Okay, and it's very it's not very easy to just change someone to start doing things in a new way. Okay, sometimes it comes with people have got different opinions on what AI would do, and some are afraid of losing their jobs. So if you, some people, I know that there are some people that are working, and maybe they do reporting. And if AI comes in and do the reporting, all the reporting for the company, it means they lose their job. Okay, so some businesses would say, no, we do not want to have this, because if we have this in place, then some jobs are going to be redundant. And it's true in some cases, but I think one way of uh, going around with it is you cannot really run away from the take. I think what you have to do is to get yourself familiar with it and be able to use it. Okay, because I don't think AI systems on their own they are able to just do everything. Maybe with time, but they need people. They need people to make them work the way we want them to work. For example, in even Chat GPT, like you can tell if someone has copied an email from Chat GPT, or they have actually developed it. But some other people are really good that they can send you an email that's been written by ChatGPT and you'll not even know it. It's so they have mastered how to use AI to give them what they want. So it's not about AI displacing you. It's you have to know how to use it for you to also remain relevant. So on the challenges on implementation of artificial intelligence, I think one of them is limited infrastructures. For example, connectivity. I think because these are systems that require high performing platforms, we still have, in a large setting, in a large enterprise, I think we need like a very stable connectivity service, which I think in most cases is something that maybe a month does not go by without complaining that the internet was down or whatsoever, but we need to put that in place. Skill gap. I do not know. Maybe someone else can correct me, but from what I have observed so far, I feel like there is more that we need to do, because we cannot only say the people that are there that have learned what tech is. Okay, let me say this. I don't believe that AI is only for people that have done tech. Okay, I look at it like, okay, if anyone should be able to use AI, anyone. So right now, I think most of the people out there, if we talk of artificial intelligence, they are talking of maybe the prompts, the chat GPTs and everything, the most common ones. Okay, but I'm looking at a future where even if I am to open a business today, like an SME, I should be able to use AI to come up with a website, a proper website, without having to rely on someone to do something for me, because AI can go those lengths. And even if you haven't taken a tech class, you should be able to do that. But I feel like there is a lot of skill gap in the Malawian landscape, because, for instance, the AI concept for me, as I said, was first introduced to me when I was in school, in my final year of my degree. That's like the 4th year. And my goal was, oh, no, this is interesting. I want to study further. But there was nowhere in Malawi where I could study more on AI. I had to look for schools outside, study online, read books. I think that is, I think universities, those that come up with university curriculums and whatnot, maybe they could look into it, but also not necessarily just at the university level, but even down to where we start from. Because you find these days that even a 3-year-old is able to use a phone. These were not the cases back in the years. It means that technology is improving each and every day. So we need to keep up with our skill gap. We need more people in the space. We need to educate more people about the concept, not just maybe AI, but technology in general. And because we have people that have got good ideas, but they do not know how they are going to implement them. So I think that's one way. And also regulatory uncertainty. Like, I'll give you an example. One day I was going to work, and I was stopped by a police. There was not that I was stuck in traffic for like 30 minutes. Okay. And there was nothing really happening, but there was a traffic policeman in front of us. And I was there thinking, do we really need people to be doing this? What if it's just a robot, like a proper robot that is like telling people to go? Because I think it will have good judgment as opposed to, that was what was going on in my head. And I was talking to my friend to say, you know what, I think we should come up with a proper robot that will do this. And they're saying, and they asked me, okay, so are we allowed to do that? Like, are we allowed to come up with such innovations in Malawi? And I was like, I don't know, because I haven't seen a policy that's telling us to say, okay, this is how far you can go with some sort of innovations. But I hope that one day we can have that. But yeah, I think there are ideas, but maybe they cannot be fully executed because there are no policies guiding them. We do not know where to step, which lengths. Maybe it's like more of a try and error. So I think if we could have like a proper guide for innovations around artificial intelligence, it will also help the people that are in the space. Yeah, and also cultural resistance. I think this is what I have also touched on earlier to say people fear that they are going to lose their uh, jobs if we are to implement a lot of AI in businesses. So some recommendations for businesses that are trying to integrate artificial intelligence in their spaces, I would say you can start small. You don't need to invest so much at once. You start small and you grow from it. Because at the end of the day, you are thinking, how can I better ourselves? Like, how can we make our business better? How can we differentiate ourselves? So if you are ever considering to implement AI in your business, you start and see and observe the return on investment, and then you proceed from there. Another thing is training. I think there are a lot of AI tools that employees could work with, and maybe, as I've said, maybe because there is some sort of skill gap, some do not know how they use it. I think businesses should start considering training their employees on how best they can use certain tools to enhance their productivity. Collaboration, I think, is also one great way because it would help most of the businesses to cut on resources and to make use of what expertise that is already there. This could be like maybe universities. The most universities, if there is a place, one thing that I've discovered is if there is a place where ideas are there and flourishing, it's in the university space. The academics have got ideas. I just don't know how most of them, they seem not to come out to solve real problems out here. But yeah, if there's some sort of collaboration, I think you have a problem as a business, there is an idea somewhere, okay, an idea waiting to solve that problem. So that's one recommendation I would put across. And also, we should focus on, we should give ourselves the benefit of the doubt. Every time I go out there, like when I meet people from other countries, they ask me, so where are you from? I say, I'm from Malawi. And they ask me, where is Malawi? And I'm always sad because, I mean, you should know Malawi, okay? And it's not about how people see us, it's about how we as Malawians see ourselves first. I believe that's because if you talk of other countries like Kenyans and South Africans, they put themselves on the spotlight. They believe in their culture. They believe in the things that they come up with. Even China, they can say, okay, we can survive without all these innovations. We can do it on our own. They have gotten to those extents because they believe in themselves. So I think if we are to localize solutions here in Malawi, we would solve problems that are fit for the market, that are fit for our people, that are solving problems not just for a person that is here in the urban location, but down to the person that is in the underdeserved areas at the village. Someone should be able to to benefit from these kind of solutions. So I think if businesses can put trust in local experts, okay, it will give them a motivation to do more. They will have a lot of playground. They will have an experimenting ground. And at the end of the day, it's a win-win. Okay. I think most businesses, from my experience in the corporate world, is like if a system is not built by a Chinese company, if a system is not built by um, an international company, then it's not fit to solve problems here. But that's not the truth. I don't think that's entirely true because I believe we do have our own potential here in Malawi. It just needs to be recognized and give it a platform to do what it's capable to do. So yeah, I have talked a lot, and thank you for being patient with me. uh, so key takeaways, I would say, let's not look at AI as a luxury. Rather, we should embrace it fully because um, it's necessary. It's necessary, and if you're not, if you're not going to use it, someone else will, and they are going to be ahead of you. So at the end of the day, it's just uh, as businesses, I think it's all about trying to make yourself better than the competitor. And I think if businesses can really leverage the this technology, they are they could benefit more. We're talking of enhancing their processes, boosting their profitability, and also cutting costs. As I've said, I think most businesses are looking at how best can we do this in how can we come up with something that is better but at a relatively small cost, and that is what an AI is here to help us to do. So I love this quote from the CEO of NVIDIA. It says, AI is not going to take your jobs. Okay, so it's not AI that's going to take your jobs, it's the person who uses AI who is going to take your job. So I believe that's more like an eye opener for all of us to say the era is among us, so let's make use of it. That's all I had. Thank you so much, Phyllis.
Thank you so much, Tapiwa. Thank you so much. There's a lot that I've gotten from this, and a lot that you said that I have loved and appreciated. And I do love that quote as well. AI is not going to take our jobs. Like, there's no need to be scared, no need to be shaken. Let's just accept that it's here and see how we can best apply it and move together with everyone else who's using AI. So today, I don't have many questions. I have one question, and I have a lot of my own that I'd like to ask you, and maybe just some things that we can, discuss. So the question I have today and the comment says, wonderful session. Let me just share it as well. Yeah. Wonderful session. True, we should aim to develop AI solutions with our current digital status. How can we effectively adopt AI at a national level? Is it possible to have our mini Stargate? Yeah, Tapiwa, can we have our own mini Stargate?
Yeah. I mean, I believe that there is no limit to what we can innovate around. I think Africa's potential is the only limit. Okay, so how do we effectively develop AI solutions? I think, as I've mentioned, it goes down to building our skills, having the right ecosystem, because I feel like the gap that is there between the industrial as well as the academia, or the people that are doing research and everything, we should have an ecosystem where we are able to share everything at like a centralized environment where we can share what are the problems that Malawi is facing and how can we solve them, and what kind of skills do we need to solve these problems. I think if we are able to get that right, then there is no limit. There is no limit because we know what to do. We know how to do it. We know what we need. So, yeah, I don't think there is anything that could stop us to have our own, even if it's a big target. It doesn't have to be mini, but we can actually come
Stargate.
up with a lot of innovations around AI. And yeah, yeah, I believe that is very, very much possible.
All right. Yeah, that's the question that was there. But I think I liked something that you said as well when you were talking about data privacy concerns. Um, I think the issue of data on its own is kind of a big issue in Malawi, which is also something that we addressed in the last session that I had on the quality of data that is kind of being collected here. And just today, actually, I saw something like on the DeepSeek and OpenAI issues where OpenAI is blaming DeepSeek for using some of its data. But then someone says deep like OpenAI cannot complain because they also got the data in dubious ways. So we can't really say they're not really in a place to be like, hey, you stole from me when they stole from
Yeah,
the general population of the world to kind of
yeah,
train
yeah.
its AI models. I don't know, like, what's your take? What's your take
I
on
think
that? Yeah,
I think yeah, that's quite true. But the issue with open source, I don't know. Initially, ChatGPT when it was coming out, I think they had communicated to say it's more of an open source, and DeepSeek. DeepSeek, I mean, apart from that, we do have a lot of models that are there. Even here in Malawi, I think there are solutions that are using um, already existing models. Okay. So, if, for example, I want to build a chatbot, I don't have to start from scratch. I can just maybe adopt something that Llama, for example, Meta AI is using, because they have open source their platform, and we can actually use it and then train it on our own local data. But yeah, the data issue is a big issue. Unfortunately, we cannot come up with these innovations without data. We need it. We need
it's a big issue.
that to come. Yes, we need that to come up with a solution. So at the end of the day, well, it's all about who has got a better a better solution. But we are not really fighting on who started or where you used our data. So yeah, I think I've lost Phyllis. Let's just give it a few minutes. I think she should be able to come back online. Hi, Phyllis. Okay, I think
I'm
she,
back.
okay. Welcome back.
Thanks. I
We
really
lost
didn't
you.
expect this to happen today,
It's okay.
but
It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Anyway, I left you talking about open source data, meta
Yeah,
AI. Yeah, I
yeah.
think
So
so. Just for, yeah.
it's in a nutshell, I was saying that
Proceed.
these models rely on these data, so it's not something that we can actually run away from it. At the end of the day, I think we are focusing on how we can get quality data that should be able to give us the solutions that we're using. But thanks that we do have open source models that we can actually use, and it's making our lives simpler when we are implementing these AI systems.
Hey, I mean, I had a lot of notes that all have gone missing because of the internet.
Oh,
But
sorry, but it's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Mm,
So I think the one other thing that you spoke about was regulations, and I've also been seeing lately like African countries coming up with their own AI
mm.
acts, just like we have the Data Protection Act. But I mean, I don't know how close we are to coming up with an AI act for Malawi. But I mean, if we had our own specific one, like how do you think that could expedite how fast we adopt tech solutions, or how fast other countries can come in with their AI solutions? And I don't know, like how it's just going to help the landscape in general.
Yeah, because I think when we have those policies in place, it's like it's a manual, right? It's like we know how we should do certain uh, uh, implementations or innovations as far as AI is concerned. So I feel like having those in place will give us a better look of what is expected of us when we are innovating, because we cannot just
Mhm.
innovate. We cannot just come up with solutions, because we want AI that is good. Okay, we do not AI. We do not want to have technologies that are affecting people in a negative way. Okay, so I feel like this would actually give it. It would be more like a manual for us to know where to step and how we are supposed to come up with these implementations. And also, I think it'll from the outlook of other developed countries, it'll it'll make us look serious in the simplest term, because most like when you go out there and interact with other people, these are the questions that they ask. And how is this done in your country? What are the policies that are monitoring all these implementations out? What is expected of you? And you have no clue. Okay, so I know that these things are sooner or later going to be in place. I have seen a lot of talks about policies on artificial intelligence, which I hope that in a few years to come, or maybe in a year or so, we should be able to have one in place. Uh, Hopefully, maybe in one of your sessions, you would you can host one of these policymakers to give us more information on what they are planning on doing around that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that would be more of an interrogation. Like, what are you doing
yeah.
about this?
Yes, they need
We
to
need to
give
know
us
what you're
some
doing
insight.
about this. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. So I think, yeah, also because of time, we have to be wrapping up. I think the last question, or rather the last but one question would be, so the other day, I think I was talking to a friend where we were talking about AI news and how, I mean, there's AI news every day, right? And then with DeepSeek and everything, they were telling me how their company blocked ChatGPT. No one is allowed to use ChatGPT because people don't know how to use it, or people are using it in the wrong way, to the point where management was like, you know what, we're tired of you guys using this, stop it. So do
exactly.
you think space AI has like a future in, I don't know, training companies, providing trainings and being like, hey, if you want to use AI to benefit your company, like this is how best you can use, I don't
Exactly.
know, ChatGPT and these large language models,
Yes,
like this is how you can best implement it without compromising your information and stuff. Is that something that you see
exactly.
that could be in your future? Because I think someone also said like, because as you said, if when there's many challenges, there's many opportunities. And someone said like Malawi is full of opportunities because we don't know even the basics of things, like just the basic, most basic things, how to use an app properly on your phone.
Yeah,
Most people
yeah.
still struggle with stuff like that. So I don't know, like, is that something that space AI could consider, or like
Yeah,
any,
very
you
much
know?
so. I think it comes naturally also because when we are dealing with businesses and you provide them with a solution, I think part of the service provisioning, you need to train people because not everyone is an expert in these things. As you have said,
Yeah,
we have people who use phones each and every day. Like even myself, sometimes my own phone, I do not know how to do certain things, okay, because you're new. So, and you're talking of a person
yeah,
that has been in the tech space for quite some time. So, yeah, you need people because also with the generational gap, because AI is booming now. I think it's
yeah,
just the previous years, maybe 4 or 5 years, that has been like extremely loud on artificial intelligence. But before that, there wasn't anything like that. So if you go in other spaces like companies, like let's say financial institutions, you go there, there are people that are like our parents, they've been there for like 20, 25 years. They are working. They're like, if you tell them that you can ask ChatGPT to do this for you, they'll probably just copy and paste. I saw a post from NYASA. I don't know if you saw it. Like someone has reported like a whole section of a report on NYASA Times on a public site,
mm.
but it has got a line like showing
Like
that this
ChatGPT,
person
like,
just, yes, like copied and pasted there. So you need to avoid those kind of things in a professional setting. So yes, training
yeah.
is one of the things that we'll actually be looking at.
All right, great. I think, yeah. So the last question for me is like, yeah, I mean, apart from trainings, like, what else is in the future for space AI? Are we supposed to be getting excited for projects? What should we be on the lookout for?
Oh yeah, so the flagship project this year has been the automation of customer service. I think, am I allowed to say
Okay.
more on that? I don't know. Yes, but that's what that's what we are working on. But our solution is going to be more of Malawi, serving the Malawian need. It's not we want it to do more,
Okay.
but to include a lot of people. We want people to be able to interact with that AI agent, even in their any language that they would like to interact with. So that's the goal. So that's what we are working
Yeah.
on, and sooner or later. But apart from that, we are also looking at the hardware component of technology, like Internet of Things, smart devices that maybe could be used for example, in agriculture, where people like they are targeting for precision farming. That's also something that we are doing and working towards. So I hope that there'll be a lot of interesting things coming up um, in in a couple of months. I hope next
Okay.
discussion will be more of what we have put on the shelf.
Accomplished. Yes.
Yeah,
All right. Okay.
exactly.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. Thank you for taking the time to tell us how businesses, Malawian businesses, can take advantage of artificial intelligence for a better competitive advantage, for profits, just to help the local Malawian. So, thank you so much for
Thank you,
your
Sam.
time. And thank you for everyone who watched. So, until next time, goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.